I want to talk about the concept of not fearing. So, Jesus talks about this. I believe he says, do not fear, right? It's a central principle in a lot of spiritual disciplines as well, not to fear. So, how do you not fear, though, right? Because the mind is always focused on threats, and therefore it's always fearing. You can positively think against it or hope for the best, right? But that still is along the lines of positive and negative, and you're always aware that the negative thing still could happen. So and even if you're able to positively trick yourself properly, which you can't do for long, you're still aware that things might not go the right way, and you're still trapped in being bound to outcomes. So how do you not fear? Well, it comes from recognizing who you are beyond the things that you may identify with. Things also include thoughts, right? So I may say, I am whatever, right? I am, list the political party, the nationality, the religion, the whatever it may be, and then having a strictly defined definition of what that means, and then being horrified of it being threatened. Now, I want to be clear that there are a lot of very good things about having distinction with respect to things about you. There are certain bad things you want to keep out, and your identity can protect you from those things in a lot of ways. So this is not to say to look negatively upon national identity or religious identity or anything. It's simply to say to be able to see beyond it. So you can simultaneously be, say, an American and also be concerned about the rest of the world, right? Or you can be of one religion but be also open to other religions, right? And so when you're able to see beyond your mentally construed identity, you're able to then live without fear. But the mentally construed identity is deeply based in physicality, very deeply based, right? So if you weren't physical, if you weren't in the physical world and needing to protect yourself, and if you weren't perishable or destructible, you would have no fear whatsoever. Then the mental identity often comes as a way to protect the physical identity. So essentially, when you see who you are beyond your thoughts, as well as beyond your current body, your current form, that's when you can live without fear. Now, that's extremely difficult, because that goes against our worldly conditioning. It doesn't go against it, it goes beyond it. Because you have to see, well, gee, what am I if I'm not XYZ? If I'm not American, or if I'm not this religion, or if I'm not of this sex, or this whatever, of this group affiliation? Well, it's a good question. And the truth is, there is no solid answer. Because the truth of who you are is fluidly changing. Who you are today is not who you were yesterday, or at the beginning of this video. Nor will it be who you are in 5 years or in 5 minutes. And you can't actually control it. So spirituality ultimately is a matter of submitting to the free flow. Now, Eckhart Tolle says, if there's a sapling and it's at one with divine will, and it's meant to die prematurely, then it dies prematurely without resistance. Right? Now, that can be very threatening to the ego, because the ego always sees death right around the corner. If not death of your physical being, then death of your psychological identity, or death of even some part of your psychological identity. It is so pernicious at keeping hold of these things. And the thing is, there are certain reasons why people develop this. Sometimes there's trauma, sometimes there's some sort of suffering that was inflicted upon them. It could be that, or it could just be that you're living on Earth and you're just operating on the base assumptions that your mind is making, and then just rolling with it. So the benefit of suffering is that it forces you to look beyond the positive and negative. Because if you only lived happily, if there's only good within your life of form, then you'd just be focused on good all the time, and you wouldn't be forced to deepen and look beyond all things, all thoughts, all people, all everything, into the infinite realm of what's essentially nothing, right? The void. They call it in Eastern spirituality. The void, which is where you truly dwell. or which is maybe truly who you are. So, how do you live without fear? Well, quite simply, it's by seeing who you are beyond yourself.